Perfectionism isn't ambition, it's anxiety. You're not chasing excellence, you're chasing feeling safe in your body. This video is about exposing where perfectionism actually comes from and why it never, ever gives you the relief you're working so hard for. Because if perfection worked, you'd feel calm by now, but you don't. None of us were born perfectionists. We developed it as a survival strategy. And I know because I've been there. I learned that early on, love, approval, and emotional safety were conditional. So performance became protection. As long as I was playing the role of what someone else wanted me to be, I felt safe in my body. But the problem was, it was always a moving target because the criticism would always be that I was too much or not enough of something. So it never felt safe to let my guard down. And if this resonates with you because you had caregivers that made you feel like you could never do anything right, that had nothing to do with who you are as a person. That had everything to do with them being miserable in their own lives. And you didn't deserve that. And it's not your burden to carry anymore. Because here's the thing, you're not a perfectionist. You're not type A. You weren't born this way. Perfectionism is what happens when love is inconsistent. So when affection, praise, or attention dependent on how well you behaved, how well you performed, or if you succeeded, your nervous system adapted to that. So it said, if I do this right, I'll be safe. If I don't mess up or make a mistake, I won't be rejected. If I'm perfect, I'll be loved. And that is not ambition. That is survival. So the enemy here is not you, although you may be your own worst enemy until you change your perfectionist behaviors. The enemy is us putting anything external in charge of our own self-worth. But the good news is, once you become aware of this, you can do something about it. So perfection never works. Well, first of all, because perfection is impossible. But when you are a perfectionist and hard on yourself and imposing perfect standards on yourself, it never works because the standards keep moving. Because again, that's what you're familiar with. So tell me if this sounds familiar. You hit the goal, but you don't even enjoy it because you immediately raise the bar. Or maybe you get praise, but then again, you don't enjoy it because then you start bracing for when it disappears, or this is a very common thing, you're quote unquote waiting for the other shoe to drop, or you succeed. And again, you don't even enjoy it because you feel nothing but pressure to maintain it. And this was because your nervous system remembers that safety was never guaranteed. So your nervous system stays on edge, scanning for the next thing to fix, looking for the next dopamine hit. And it's exhausting. And honestly, it's a really unhappy and unfulfilling way to live. And this is why rest feels unsafe, or sometimes happiness and joy, it feels earned or maybe not even allowed, or why you can't relax when things seem quote unquote good. So perfection, my point is perfection, it doesn't create peace, it disturbs the peace, to quote Ludacris. So this belief that being perfect makes everything okay, it's costing you rest because stopping feels dangerous or may even make you feel guilty. It's causing you presence or mindfulness because you're always hypervigilant and monitoring not only yourself, but everything around you. It's costing you self-trust because you're outsourcing your worth to everything outside of you. And it's also costing you your joy and happiness because unless you can justify it with something like productivity, you probably don't even think you deserve it. So you're not even enjoying your life because all you're doing is managing it. And by the way, I want you to know, because if this is resonating with you, all of those things I just talked about, rest, joy, happiness, peace, you deserve all of those things. First of all, because you're worthy, but also because it feels good to feel safe in your own body, and you deserve that. And again, it's just not familiar to you, but I promise you, once you learn this way of life, it feels so much better. So I want you to understand, if you are feeling on edge and unhappy and unfulfilled and exhausted, there is another way to live. Because trust me, I used to live my life in that hypervigilant state, and I truly didn't even believe that happiness and fulfillment was even available to me. And now I'm on the other side of that, and it's like clear as day now. And again, like, I had to take accountability for my behaviors and make the changes. But my point is, it is possible. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. So, and again, like, the underlying belief behind happiness and fulfillment not being available to me was that I didn't believe I was worthy of it, because I had this underlying belief that I didn't deserve to be loved. So if you have a similar worthiness wound, that's running your decisions. And again, you deserve to be happy and fulfilled, and you deserve to feel good. So here is today's action item. And this is, by action item, I mean, this is something I want you to start, and you don't have to, there's no rules. But if you are serious about making changes in your life, this is something that you can easily implement in your day-to-day life to get the ball rolling on your changes. And this is the moment your critical inner voice kicks in. So maybe it's like, I need to do better because you didn't do something perfect. All I'm asking you to do is accept that it's there. I'm not asking you to ignore it, but then ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen if I don't? So let's say you do make a mistake. What if the next time you don't do better? I really want you to ask yourself that question. What would really happen if you make that same mistake again? Will you be rejected? Will you disappoint someone? Will you be seen as not enough? Because I think you're going to start to see a pattern that, first of all, you're reliant on external approval, or B, a lot of these answers are going to be related to something in your childhood that isn't even applicable to your functional adult life. So, and this alone can help break these beliefs. So this is why it's so important to do it. Also, if you want extra credit, early on in my healing journey, a mentor gave me the advice, question everything you do and why you do it. So for example, like, okay, what was the example? I need to do better. What will happen if I don't? I will be rejected. Again, that's probably coming from some childhood trauma. So when you start to question everything you do and why you're doing it, you will notice a pattern that most of your motivating reasons for your behaviors are linked to these childhood beliefs. And there's usually one or two really root beliefs. So if you start working on those, like, so many things in your life will change. So not only, when I started doing this, not only did I start to see my patterns more clearly, I started to see why I was doing them. And that's why in my GLOW method that I use with clients to create their transformations, the G stands for go back to your childhood. So we straight up uncover what that limiting belief is that's holding the wheel and driving their life. And we reprogram it from the root, and it changes so many things immediately. So for extra credit, start questioning everything you do and why you do it. The disclaimer to this is it can be exhausting, because trust me, like, almost everything you do initially can be like tracked back to some limiting beliefs. So if it does become too overwhelming, just do it a few times a day. But I promise you, this is going to uncover a lot for you. But if you just want to stay with the regular action item, because again, I think this will uncover a lot as well. Your critical inner voice kicks in, just interrupt. Like, what am I afraid will happen if I don't obey my inner voice, or whatever your inner voice is telling you? So Again, my whole point is once you understand why you do the things you do, you can start changing your behaviors, which will change your beliefs and turn around your entire life. You don't have to be a slave to outdated beliefs anymore. So, tomorrow we are going to dismantle the lie that keeps perfectionism socially acceptable. And that is that being hard on yourself means that you have high standards. It doesn't. It means that you have impossible standards and you're beating yourself up and driving yourself crazy. So I will see you in the next video.